What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer playing something I don't think I've played on the deck profile. Well, I played it once and it was a weird context. It was Exodia, but it was like this weird thing where I would side in 15 Guru cards. It was honestly a really bizarre deck, but nonetheless, I am going to show off like my Exodia deck. I'll talk about some of the changes that I've made. So this was like my initial build. Like this is kind of what I built the deck off of, playing a lot of these like heavy, trap cards like control, summon limit. There can be only one, skill drain, and I do think it's like relatively valid, like overall, because it plays around skill drain, and skill drain's really good. But I've taken actually these two out because Mystic Mine really fills in any gaps. And even at times, Skill Drain feels kind of sus, to be completely honest with you. So this is looking pretty good. So this was like a really funny like couple games. So I played this Sky Striker player, and I was playing in casual, by the way. So I thought it was hilarious that he was playing in casual, or Sky Striker in casual. So I was already kind of like, feeling it a little bit, where I was kind of annoyed with him, and he kind of like broke it. He did have multi-roll in that first game. He got Mystic Mine off the board, and then he kind of popped off from there. But so this was game 2, and he was just talking so much garbage to me. And the thing about this deck is like it's really stupid. Like obviously it's very dumb, but it's kind of like misguided. Like this is like no one plays this deck because like everybody hates Mystic Mine players, and I totally understand that, but like no, like don't disregard this deck as like something that's like a joke. It's definitely a real strategy. Mystic Mine Burn probably is a little bit better because there's just less bricks, because these are just bricky cards at some point. I didn't want him to be able to activate Area 0, because if he found a Sky Striker card, which he would have, that would have been off the board. So, I'm essentially just finding the rest of my outs here, trying to find these Exodia pieces. Only 2 with 9 cards left in the deck. A lot of these duels are over 20 games. But, yeah, I'm actually, pretty satisfied with the build that I have right now. I'll do the deck profile tomorrow. And if you guys check this out, I promise you're going to win a tremendous amount of duels, because people aren't playing a ton of Spell and Trap Hit. And if they are, they have probably 3 outs max, right? Which is like meaningless, because you'll have 6 outs in the form of Solemn Judgment and then the Dark Bribe as well. Okay, so I've drawn the 4th piece. Like there literally can't be that many cards that aren't the Exodia pieces right now. And I think off of the top I do get the Pot of Duality. I still have two more outs to whatever outs he has, which I think was Cyclone, and there I go, I won by the effective Exodia. Here's a couple of games against Ritual Beast. I think this is closer. Yeah, this is definitely closer to my final build. Ash is like it's bad against this deck for sure, but I don't know. I think there's been worse things, obviously. Okay, so he's going to add a card eventually. I know the Kanahawk it does that. I just had a combo video on this pretty recently. So that's going to add a card to hand. And that's where this card Sales Pitch comes in. And Sales Pitch is really... This is like, I feel like this card was basically made like for Exodia. You literally just get to search these pieces out as long as your opponent adds something to their hand, which they will. That they will add something to their hand either through Pot of Duality, whatever the case may be, or not Pot of Duality. I mean that would count, but the Pot of Indulgence, like those kinds of cards, like yeah, 100,000%. I made a misplay here grabbing Skill Drain because like I already have Mystic Mine. That was kind of my bad. But what are you going to do? So that does get destroyed, but I'm going to have to find an out now. Demise of the Land is going to put in a lot of work. So this was, I think, game 1, so obviously he's going to have Nibiru in there, which he just don't summon monsters outside of Card-Card-E. And there's my first out, so now I'm feeling really good. Like, once he tries to do anything, like, it's pretty much over. I should have grabbed that second piece earlier, obviously, seeing this now. It was just a misplay. And that's why I kind of would go back and forth on Skill Drain even being in my deck, to be honest with you, but... I guess at the end of the day, it kind of works out. A couple of Reckless Greed are going to draw 4 cards. So I'm going to draw into something that's going to draw cards for me, or search something. So, I'm pretty good, and I'm willing to wait that long. Telegraphing the Sales Pitch is kind of bad, but he just plays right into it. So I kind of appreciate that. So I've searched 2 pieces of Exodia in this duel just from this card. So obviously, that card just does a whole lot of work. I didn't have it in before, so there's going to be a few replays where you don't see that card at all, but... I think it's already proven its value here. I think this deck could be better than Mystic Mind Burn, honestly, or Final Countdown, especially Final Countdown. If that's your strategy, then heck no. Wave Motion I can understand. This card plays around Mystic Mind, it plays around Skill Drain. It's really, really sick. For a while, I was also playing Magic Planter, but since I took out the There Can Be Only Ones and the Summon Limits, I took out Magic Planter too. There goes the Skill Drain. So that, I mean, that's where the kind of the synergy came in a little bit. He tries to destroy his board again. Not going to happen. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. Only 12 left, 2 more pieces. It always seems to be at the bottom. But one of my duels, I think, is actually fairly short. I think it goes in the first half of the deck or close to it. Once again, tries to activate Steeds. Not going to happen. Draw a couple cards. I don't know why he doesn't ash it. That's kind of insane to me. But it's like, when are you going to use it, right? Or maybe he doesn't believe I have anything. I haven't even touched Pot of Extravagance yet, so I'm going to draw a couple cards. How have I not found my last piece? But I think I have... Okay, I have a Reckless Greed. I can activate another Pot of Extravagance. Draw a couple cards. Just need one piece. Can't find it. But, you know, the Reckless Greed obviously is going to be there. And it was going to be the top piece anyways, but yeah, it would have been game. It's just crazy how long it can take sometimes. All right, so he basically knew the operation at this point. But most people don't have like so many like side deck cards, and you know, other than maybe Cosmic Cyclone. I guess he couldn't side out Nibiru either. Like Dimensional Shifter obviously doesn't do anything, so he actually just kind of like didn't have an out outside of the trap when it comes to Mystic Mine for this game to like just be over. Skill Drain, I can go ahead and draw a couple cards. Well, they did ash it there, so going -2 really, really tough. But he special summons, and I kind of like don't understand where he was coming from there. It's like you theoretically have the upper hand. Like I'm gonna have to hard draw Mystic Mine, or else you can just keep attacking directly. But that's on him, I suppose. I will draw a couple cards. I'll find a Reckless Greed. I have a Dark Bribe now. Like, so this is... I'm not going to say, like, this is the end of the game, but it's really, really, really close to being the end of the game. And I didn't remember if I'd activated Pot of Extravagance that turn or not. I think that's why I kept Card D in my hand. Not that it matters too much, because, you know, what's the difference? And considering everything that I saw there, I might as well grab another piece, because I just want to be one step closer to ending the duel. Sales Pitch for next turn could come in handy, I suppose. And I'll go ahead and probably set a Solemn Judgment and a Sales Pitch. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to activate Reckless Greed really soon. Although I guess I can just wait it out another turn, because I do have 3 negates, right, for whatever out he has, which is actually nothing at all. He's going to search there with Pot of Prosperity, which is just kind of insane because he knows I'm playing Sales Pitch. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a piece to my hand. Again, this card putting in so much work. It's like having 3 extra copies of your Exodia pieces, but better, which is great. Cosmic Cyclone can start, you know, destroying the back row. I'll negate this, you know, Steeds. I don't know why I tried to activate it there. And I can just kind of keep playing Sales Pitch again, like hopefully. But he did surrender there, so I guess it didn't even end up going to the last turn. This is Lunalight. This is like Tri-Brigade Lunalight. I know they have Tiger at 1, which is kind of interesting. But the Solemn Judgment, summon limit there could be pretty decent. Although Demise of the Land is probably going to put in the most work for me. I'll activate summon limit again. But yeah, I've taken this out. And I think this duel kind of showcases why exactly this card ain't doing much. I think these are replaced with like There Can Be Only One and Upstart Goblin. Pot of Extravagance can draw me some cards here. Pretty nice. And he did end up surrendering. But I did have, you know, that combo, which was really, really cool. To kind of just lock my opponent out of playing the game. They may not have added out at all. So this was the other game. So a couple of matches, obviously. You can see the kind of the changes here. And he did have Lightning Storm. He doesn't, I think, fire it off, which is really weird. I don't know why, like, what he was playing around necessarily, but okay. He did search a card, so I'll grab the Head of Exodia. Kind of neat. I had Sphere Mode in my side. I mean, this is just a Kaiju now, but it's just the only problem is that you take control of it back, you know, after that one turn, meaning, you know, it could really mess with your Mystic Mind plays. So Lava Golem and Kaijus are kind of where it's at. Look at these comically bad draws. Like, this is the power of Mystic Mind, by the way. Like, no other card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is this powerful, in my opinion, where it just completely stops the game from happening. I don't want to use Terraforming because I kind of want to have the option of Card of Demise on, like, the board. So that's the decision process behind that. I can grab the first piece of Exodia. Or I should say the second, so that's pretty cool, I suppose. And a Solemn Judgment. So finally I have it out. Like, luckily, I did find that out. Which is really, really, really important. I draw another Lava Golem. Like, that really stinks. And he did fight his Cosmic Cyclone, but a little too late, at least as of right now. Meaning that I know that he's only out there Cosmic Cyclone, so I just have to find 2 more answers. And maybe I can find that through Reckless Greed. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I guess it really wasn't that close to his other Cosmic. He has another Harpy's Feather Duster, so definitely has some stuff in there. Although it has weird ratios. I think I activated Card D, which could do something. I have 3 pieces at this point. He does activate Called by the Grave. Okay, you can do that, I suppose. I'll draw a few cards here, and then I could finally find my second out. So I was like getting kind of nervous because like he could top deck this at any moment, but now that I have this, he only's got 1 out. Like, don't know why he kept Pinkertops in there. Gonna draw a couple more cards. I can drop this Fear Mode, obviously, at this point, then it's not doing anything at all. And with another Dark Bribe, this duel is all but over. I can, banish 6 cards, draw 2 fresh ones, and that's pretty good. He's going to have to discard the Perfume. There's nothing he can do about that. And I can find yet another piece. I mean, there's only so many cards left in the deck. He does have Fusion Destiny. He decides to activate it this time. I don't know why he's playing 3 copies or 2 copies. I think that's kind of weird. I guess you can activate it after the turn, but that makes sense. But yeah, off the top, the right leg of the Forbidden One. How nuts is that? So yeah, and there's just a few more duels here. I can activate Card D. I have Dark Bribe, Demise of the Land, Skill Drain. Another duel kind of showcasing why Skill Drain isn't all that great. He kind of plays right into my hand here. Demise of the Land is very, very good. Plays around Ash Blossom as well because it activates it directly from the deck. And a top, getting the left arm off the top is like kind of hilarious. And, Magic Planter does do its duty there. It's Sales Pitch if he searches again, which I don't think he's going to be able to anytime soon. Although if he did activate Contact Converge, it'd be kind of crazy. Although maybe he doesn't have a Neospatian in his hand. I feel like if you're playing this card, like you need to be playing a very sizable amount of Neospatians, but whatever. He's got a lot of the new support, but I don't think you can. I think if you're going to play the new support, you need to play like a Neos Fusion deck. You can't be like, let me just see what kind of hero cards I can throw in there. I don't think it's going to work like that. So I'm just drawing a bunch of random stuff at this point. He's trying to get closer to maybe finding an out. Let's see how many he has. Harpy's Feather Duster, I guess, is his out. So yeah, this duel is essentially over. And I found it in like the top half of my deck, which is kind of amazing. Like, who would have thought, right? Another game in this match. He's got the Neos Wiseman. So he's going first this time, but I have Lava Golem, so that's probably going to kind of fix everything up. Although my hand is really wonky because I don't have access to Mystic Mine. But, Dark Phoenix is a really good card against Mystic Mine. It would have been better, I think, if this was a Kaiju, technically, because that's what it would have been, because I've taken this out. But I'm on kind of a clock. I mean, if he can summon anything. Don't know why I didn't activate this during the battle phase, which is kind of weird to me, but okay. He's going to add a card, and I could have added an Exodia piece, but, like, why would I? I might as well just get myself a hard copy of Mystic Mine. He's going to bring back the Phoenix Enforcer and just kind of get shellacked on, I think, in a second here. But we'll go ahead and activate Pot of Extravagance, drawing a couple cards. There goes the Mystic Mine. He thinks he outsmarted me. Well, I guess he doesn't really have a choice, but of course I wouldn't activate that just for nothing. So I got the second copy of Mystic Mine there. Pretty lucky to get Terraforming off the top, honestly, but I do have a lot of access to it. Okay, so Pot of Extravagance once again is going to draw me a couple cards, which is really, really sick. Go into the Pot of Duality, and I end up getting into the Solemn Judgment. So now that I kind of have that out, I feel really solid for 2 solid outs. There's really... The rest of this game is just a formality. I guess he could surrender, but maybe he wants to see something through. Maybe he wants to see if he can find that Harpies without knowing that I obviously have, the answers for it. A lot of fusion cards coming down, but yeah, this card is should be banned, you know what I mean? But there's the Ash Blossom. Who knows what could happen there? I decided to add this to my hand, just to get less and less cards there. I only have 2 pieces of Exodia. Getting a little nervous because you never know, what could get off the top. Even though I do have 2 answers, Reckless Greed could do something for me as well. Although it's really not going to with the Ash here. Rainbow Dragon comes down. That's nothing but hilarious. And another Reckless Greed. So I'm probably going to activate these now because drawing 4 cards at that point is just a little too good to pass up. But I did get the Pot of Extravagance off the top, and now I'm only 2 pieces away with 17 cards left. I'm going to draw 4 cards really soon, which is going to essentially end the duel. Pot of Duality can come down. I'll grab another piece, and I guess like the philosophy behind this is like I'll just wait until I can keep drawing and drawing cards. And then let's say he did have his out to Cosmic Cyclone, and I didn't have the answer, and he was going to start attacking for game. Drawing 4 cards, it kind of comes down to like a do you believe in the heart of the cards type of game. And yeah, so I think it's better to kind of wait so you don't lose out those draw phases. And then last but not least, why not I would say a mirror match, but it's not really. He's playing Burn, I'm playing, Exodia, of course. I feel like my deck list is better because like Lost Wind, you're just wasting your time. Like Cosmic Strike, wasting your time because like Mystic, the only thing you have to worry about is Mystic Mind being protected, because if Mystic Mind is protected, then you win the game. It's like, who really cares about what your opponent does? You don't need to negate monster effects because Mystic Mind kind of does that. And there's a couple of weird card choices too, like Defense Draw. I mean, that's just silly in my opinion. Again, another thing that Mystic Mind does. So like, you're not playing enough cards to get Mystic Mind on the board. Like, I don't think he's playing Card of Demise, which, he is playing the Trap, which obviously you kind of have to, the Metaverse, but I don't think he's playing Card of Demise. Instead, he's using cards that prevent damage, like Defense Draw, which is just kind of silly. I'm drawing a lot of cards right now. My draw engine is so strong. And then I have just so many outs, right? I do need to find a Mystic Mind pretty soon, but I can't imagine it's going to be too hard. I did activate Reckless Greed. I'm going to draw 2 fresh cards here, and then I finally do find a Metaverse. I mean, it's kind of hard. It would have been really hard for me not to find kind of access to Mystic Mind at that point. Tries to activate Dark Bribe. I'll activate a copy of my own. Activate the Mystic Mind from the deck, essentially ending this duel. So he shuffles all those back, gets all these fresh new cards. I just have to worry about Wave Motion Cannon, like nothing else pretty much, because he kind of signaled to me that he's playing cards like Solemn Strike and all that kind of junk. And I just have way more outs than him. He top decks the Wave Motion Cannon. I will negate that, of course, meaning that I think he only has 1 copy of it left in the deck. Does go for Dark Bribe. I still have 2 Solemn Judgments there. These draws are pretty unfortunate because they're not doing anything. The skill drains on the there can be only ones, but obviously there's nothing you can do about it. He does set the card D. Don't really know why he's like stacking his board. Maybe he doesn't want to discard, but at this point, like, what's the difference? He kind of sets that card D once again, basically just opening up my lines of play for card D, although I may have already used all my copies of it. No, so I still have 1 left. I don't know if I end up using it, but again, kind of this last duel really showcasing why I got rid of the summon limit and all that stuff, and I just kept skill drain. But there goes the Wave Motion Cannon. He tries to activate Dark Bribe there. I have to negate for that as well, meaning the Wave Motion Cannon is not coming down, and his win condition is now Gonzo. Cannot believe I still have that many pieces of Exodia still at this point. Like, how is that even possible? But okay. He's going to draw 3 cards off the top. Don't really think he finds anything. Like, Defense Draw, of course, isn't going to help him at all. I mean, at this point, I have to be finding pieces pretty quickly here. I'll draw 3 cards or look at the top 3. Hopefully, I can find a piece of Exodia. Once again, I do not. So I'm just kind of inviting this guy to have his out. Solemn Strike is a little too late because I don't have any more card Ds. And now, like, I have the last answer pretty much. And then I'm going to draw 4 cards. So I'm going to draw something off the top and then draw more cards. But I did get the head of Exodia. And then off the first Reckless Greed, I got the last piece. So pretty funny, obviously. Exodia, like I said, I'll do the deck profile really soon. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video. And I'll see you guys next time.